Michael Collins, one of Ireland's most legendary figures, known as the mastermind behind the War of Independence and the man who led the Irish Army before his assassination in 1922. He famously said, after adding his signature to the Anglo-Irish Treaty in 1921, that he had signed his own death warrant by agreeing to partition. But there's more to this iconic leader than most people know. Today, we're diving into 10 fascinating facts about Michael Collins, from his drinking habits to his father's nationalistic roots and conspiracies about who was really behind the big fella's assassination. Stick around, because what you're about to learn may surprise you. Let's dive in. 1. Michael Collins had a fierce smoking habit in his youth, often having as many as 50 cigarettes a day. He eventually kicked the addiction as the War of Independence began, saying that he'd be a slave to nothing. This didn't stop him from carrying a silver case filled with cigarettes. He'd offer them to policemen to avoid any hassle. Talk about a clever strategy. 2. While Collins was a heavy smoker for many years, he wasn't overly fond of a drink. He'd occasionally have a drop of Jameson whiskey or some sweet sherry. When he returned to his hometown, he'd make sure to order the local tipple, Clonakilty whiskey, and buy a round of drinks for the rest of the pub. Collins caused consternation during the 1916 Rising when he acting as the bodyguard and aide-de-camp to Joseph Plunkett in the GPO. To the horror of his comrades, the Corkman poured the barrels of porter into the drains to stop the rebels from drinking on the job. 3. Collins got involved in the Irish Republican Brotherhood secret organisation as a teenager while living in London. Liam McCarthy and Sam Maguire, after whom the trophies for the annual All-Ireland Hurling and Gaelic Football Championships are named, were his two mentors in the big city after he met them through the London GAA Club. 4. Collins opposed the martyrdom and blood sacrifice embodied by the leaders of the 1916 Rising, who were ultimately executed for their actions. He favoured more daring strategies whereby IRA members would strike and then retreat back into the wilderness, embodying the first form of modern-day guerrilla warfare. Despite his sharp brain when it came to military tactics, Collins didn't have much direct experience actually fighting himself. Some pointed towards his orders to engage the enemy when fired upon, and not get out of dodge on the fateful day in Bealnamblath when he met his end as a major error. 5. Collins used to cycle around Dublin during the War of Independence with no disguise on, despite being the country's most wanted man. The authorities knew very little about him, and they didn't even have a photograph of the big fella. 6. It is still unclear as to who actually shot Collins in 1922. Some claim that a veteran sniper from World War I named Dennis "Sonny" O'Neill pulled the trigger, while others dispute this. A tentative theory is that the British Secret Service organised the hit over concerns that Collins was willing to forcefully end partition with Northern Ireland through an invasion led by the Irish Army. 7. Michael Collins was born in 1890 and was named after his father. Collins Sr. was also part of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, the secret organisation that his son would one day lead. He eventually stopped his work in the Republican movement to focus on his farm. Collins Jr. looked up to his father immensely and attributed his guidance to learning how to become a man, despite not even being 7 years old when he died. 8. While many people claim to know about Collins' political ideology, he never really recorded his actual thoughts on how he viewed a future Ireland. Many subsequent political figures and parties tried to claim him as their own. He was neither a socialist nor a capitalist, instead favouring an approach of developing a form of cooperative movement to allow people to be self-sufficient and have a stake in their own success. This approach is what spawned modern-day Irish companies like Glanbia and Kerry Group. 9. After the killing of Collins in 1922, some members of his infamous hit squad took revenge into their own hands, carrying out killings of 2 men in Dublin, while their former superior's body lay in state at Dublin City Hall under a statue of Daniel O'Connell. 10. Legendary Manchester United manager Alex Ferguson was a big admirer of Collins. He spoke about how he felt Collins was thrown under the bus by getting sent to lead the treaty negotiations. He believes De Valera knew he couldn't get a positive outcome, so he sent Collins in his place. Michael Collins was a man ahead of his time, a master strategist, and an unshakable figure in Ireland's history. But who was he really? Was he a hero, a martyr, or a tragic casualty of a divided Ireland? Whatever your opinion, his impact is undeniable. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another deep dive into the fascinating stories of Irish history. Until next time, Slán.